The UN Panel on Climate Change warns us that to avoid catastrophe, human societies have 11 years to wholly transform the way we use energy and land, making changes on a scale for which there is no documented historic precedent. This project investigates the negative impact of the suburban sprawl and how Melbourne can double its population without expanding its footprint. It examines a particular case study, Fitzroy Gasworks, and proposes an alternative design to illustrate how a landscape-oriented urban development can provide environmental, economic, and social benefits. The Victorian government forecasts a 70% population increase in Melbourne over the next 30 years. In order to continue growing horizontally, farmland and conservation areas will likely need to be used for housing development. Suburban sprawl is responsible for the destruction of agricultural land, habitat loss, damage of waterways, and encourages car dependency. Suburban sprawl also results in a deepening of social isolation, affecting our sense of community and connectedness, which weakens possibilities for economic innovation and shifting to more sustainable industries. As a wealthy developed country with such a small population, Australia should be leading the campaign for zero carbon emissions, but it is currently 11th in the global emission per capita ranking. Australia's high emissions are intimately related to its pattern of growth and physical structure. In the state of Victoria, the residential sector is responsible for almost 30% of total emissions. Detached and semi-detached housing comprises 86% of Australia's current housing stock, with just 16% of current building approvals being for multi-dwelling structures. With the housing affordability crisis reaching its peak, alternatives need to be investigated. In this research, I examined both local and global initiatives for housing densification, with several precedents where cities possessing high quality of life also have much higher densities than Melbourne's typical 12 dwellings per hectare. Within this scenario, the design methodology I employed was based in 8 points: to find the most suitable areas for densification, develop a data-driven planning process, choose a key prototype site, undertake a site analysis, review the site's urban design framework, establish a critical position, develop various design iterations, and detail key location. Each step in the process can be seen in detail in this project's booklet. I chose Fitzroy Gasworks as a case study site for its potential to become a role model for a medium-density urban development. The site is an urban renewal of a former gasworks led by Development Victoria, ranging from a 19th century working-class space, 20th century council depot. With an expressive illustration of feminism in Melbourne, the site also has potential ecological value with its association to a significant hydrological network. In this study, I analyzed the evolution of the development master plan, highlighting its opportunities and constraints in terms of its potential for achieving a successful role model. Consideration of both top-down and bottom-up approaches were critical to structure possible design interventions. I overlapped both documents with the Green Star Sustainability Rating System, which culminated in the formulation of design criteria. This was later used to evaluate the design outcome. I developed a series of design iterations to investigate the best spatial distribution. The design approach highlights key components of the proposed program, which were further detailed in the following proposition. In the landscape structure, the central spine defines the spatial distribution, being the main circulation corridor and the most significant ecological system. Looking up from Queen's Parade, we can see the precinct's main entrance. The wetland system is composed of 4 cleaning pools with different plant species that are used to clean stormwater. Vegetation is also used as a buffer to mitigate public exposure to the polluted water. After the 4th pond, the water becomes much cleaner and is used in a water feature that helps define the main public square. A sloping lawn and bluestone bleachers for sitting are encircled by jacaranda trees on the southern side and cascading water on the opposing side. The upper side of the water feature creates the visual link of the square up to the Heritage Plaza, the 2 main public spaces. Australian native trees and drought-tolerant plants help to create a robust landscape with potential to adapt to a future changing climate. Sculptural elements provide a connection between the past, pre-colonial, present, post-colonial, and future, to be designed with community consultation. The allocation of a community space in this corner is crucial to safeguard its community management and activism. Heading south, entering one housing unit, we can explore the proposed residential communal spaces in the precinct. A more private transitional area creates a threshold to a community shared zone. Each resident is entitled to decide how to organize the space, but the shared zone is managed collectively. A loop trail goes around the garden, delineating the communal space. Plant species here possess sensory traits, are edible, bird-attracting, and robust for changing climate. Rainwater is harvested and directed to a retention system installed in the basement, which also reuses wastewater for irrigation and toilet flushing, reducing water consumption by 50%. The greenhouse is located in the center of the garden and is an open, creative space. It is used to grow food and indoor plants, as a makerspace and also for movie projections. The residents of this block also decided to allocate some space for a fire, with local rock boulders used for seating. The play space provides recreation for different age groups, and parents can take turns monitoring children, supporting the children's sense of autonomy and risk-taking. The play area is directly connected to the common kitchen, where residents can organize meals together or host events. An orchard provides a visual and sound barrier from the public space while supplying fresh fruits for the residents. Departing the residential block and heading to the Valve House Plaza, one can see the ground floor being used for restaurants and co-working spaces. Social gatherings instead of long commutes enable the exchange of experience with the potential for mental health improvement. The timber cladding on the building to the right provides privacy to the residential circulation corridors while also allowing light and wind to flow through the space. The vegetation strip in the middle is part of the swale system that treats stormwater before diverting it into the primary water system. As the sun sets, the Valve House Plaza exhibits activation at night. The heritage building is retrofitted into a gallery space. A native Illawarra flame tree exhibits its colorful presence as the central element of the space, with its red flower complementing red metal pipes and the bricks of the Valve House. Local sandstone boulders help to define more gathering spaces that are used day and night, showcasing the economic opportunities within the precinct. The paving provides a wayfinding element that helps guide people through the space and punctuates specific sightlines to the city, the shot tower, and nighttime exhibition openings. The paving also guides the pedestrian traffic flow towards Alexandra Parade's pedestrian crossing, reclaiming the street level from car flows and reconnecting the block with the city. Design intervention along Alexandra Parade advocates for the complete transformation of the underground drainage system into a linear park, thereby improving not only ecological processes but also enhancing the city's livability and the quality of its social spaces. Residential building rooftops are used for electricity generation, food production, and to create diverse social gathering opportunities. A site that was once responsible for polluting the air, soil, and groundwater will now be able to clean water, provide habitat for wildlife, and have increased tree canopy cover, while simultaneously creating active community-oriented spaces and fostering future environmentally sustainable economies.